This week is the deadline for Texas to tell a court why it has the authority to keep a blockade of buoys in the Rio Grande. The federal government sued, asking a court to remove those buoys. A decision in that case could come as early as next week. But on Tuesday of this week, a group of Democratic congressmen are going to see this for themselves. Congressman Joaquin Castro, a San Antonio Democrat, is leading that group. Congressman Castro, welcome back to the program here. This congressional delegation trip to the border is a page right out of the Republican playbook. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've seen Republican lawmakers down on the border posing for photos, having press conferences about what's going on. But you want your trip to show something else.
Yeah, we're going down to meet with community members, with property owners and stakeholders, with CBP, and to really inspect what's going on with Operation Lone Star. Because, as you know, Governor Abbott instructed that razor wire and these barrel traps with concertina wire be placed along the banks of the Rio Grande. There have now been at least 2 deaths, it looks like, related to those, what I call death traps or drowning devices that the governor ordered to be installed. And so this group of members of Congress is going to go down there, take a look for ourselves at what's going on, and also talk to the community about the impact of Operation Lone Star on the community in Eagle Pass.
Congressman, I've heard about the death of the person who was caught up in the buoys. Has there been a second one as well?
It looks like there are 2 folks who have died. One of them is a child from Honduras. And this is something that was completely avoidable. It's something that many of us warned about in the last few weeks when Governor Abbott made the decision to put these drowning devices in the river. There's wire that people get trapped in. Folks had already been trapped before this, so the governor had noticed that this was going to be a problem. And I know that border security obviously in Texas is a huge issue. We've got 1,200 miles of border with Mexico, so it's always going to be an issue for us. But there's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things, and you still have to treat people like human beings. And to put razor wire in the water, to put these what look like chainsaw blades in the middle of those barrels, to not offer water to people that may be dying of thirst in 105, 110 degree weather, that goes beyond the pale, I think, of what most Texans consider fair to do to human beings. Unfortunately, Greg Abbott is still doing it, and I hope the Department of Justice will be able to stop him soon.
Congressman, of course, the Department of Justice is going to court trying to get those buoys removed from the Rio Grande, saying that the river is overseen by the Corps of Engineers. Is there anything else that the federal government can do on its end to intercede here?
I hope that I believe the lawsuit will be successful. I do think they'll be able to get an injunction because Greg Abbott doesn't have authority over an international body of water, just like the governor of California doesn't have authority over the Pacific Ocean. So I think that lawsuit will be successful, but they need to hurry with that.
Last time we spoke, you wanted President Biden and the White House to come out and be more forceful and make a statement about what is happening here with Texas Department of Public Safety troopers treating asylum seekers inhumanely. We have not yet heard that from the White House. Are you satisfied with what's going on in D.C.?
The White House spokesperson has now twice made comments, first about what happened a few weeks ago with the razor wire and so forth. And then I think yesterday about the family separation that has now been revealed. But I still think it's important for the President of the United States to be able to forcefully condemn this kind of behavior, this kind of conduct. And, that's separate. I know the DOJ is doing its job and they've gone to court and that's part of the administration. But the words of a president matter and they make a difference on an issue. They make a difference about how Americans see issues. And so I still hope that the president will say something.
Congressman, thank you for the time. We appreciate it.
Good to be with you.